Once you log on to Kimbrell's, then you come over here and we have a whole lot of things here over in the left sidebar. A few of these are going to go away prior to the time that the website is launched, but then quite a few of them will still be there. And we will go over any additional training that you might need at that time. But as for the e-commerce part of things, then we have a couple of areas that you need to look out for here. There's WooCommerce and there's products. And the products are still a part of WooCommerce. They're just divided into separate parts here. So we're going to look at the individual products first and go through that, make sure we have the basics down there, and then we will look at some broad settings that you will want to change from time to time. So we're going to look here and we see all of our products are here listed, and you scroll through them, see that they are all there. You can make changes to these all at once for some things if you ever need to, but most of the time you're going to be going into individual ones to make those changes. Let's say we're going to look at these. Let's look at something that actually is in stock so we can see the changes. Let's do the extra small Dubia nymphs. So we come in here and we have our basic description here at the top. We have a title, a basic description here. This is a basic word processing type section here. So you can just leave it as simple text like it is, but you can also put anything else that you want to have in that spot as well. So if you want to add images, you can click this Add Media button here, and you have images that are already available, or you can upload new ones and insert them. These are not the main featured image. This is just something within the text itself if you want to add, or if you want to link these out to something else, you can do that. A lot of these are pretty self-explanatory on what they do in these word processing things. Just bold, italicized, bullet pointed, whatever it is you want to put in this spot, you can put there. As you're making any of these changes on this or anything else on this page, then you can always click Preview Changes. And so then when you do that, you get to see the way it looks on the live website, but it has not been made live yet. You just get to see the way that it will appear once you're all done. And so you see we have this description down here, and that's from this. If we're to change this, then it will change those things over here live. We have some related products down here, and those are controlled separately. We might take a look at that here in a bit. So we go down here, you can see that we do have some categories that we could apply, but I don't know if we are utilizing that at this time or not. I'll have to double check on that. But in general, if you're wanting to make it so that different parts of the site are populated with different products, then you can add new categories, or you can check and uncheck these things here. When you get down into here, then you see there's some product data, and this is pretty important for what you're doing, because a lot of these things that you're selling do have several different kinds. It matters anyway for sure, but especially because you're doing the variable products, you want to know how all these different parts work. So we have the general things here. This is taxable. You want it to be that people are charged taxes for it, and then you do have the SKU up here. And for shipping, then it has a weight on here, but it's going to have individual weights for each variation as well. And if you want to have particular things that are linked to it, so rather than this is just a random set of things that it has chosen on the basis of wording or pricing or something or another that it uses its algorithms for. But if you want to have particular things for upsells, cross-sells, you can search for the product here, and then you can find it. So we say we want other Dubia things, and then you can click and say we want to have that particular Dubia thing. And I don't know if that's how you pronounce the word. I apologize if I'm saying your bug's name wrong. Then we have down here, we have attributes, and this is where we get into the different quantities that you're selling. And so these are all divided up into their different quantities by by this vertical bar here. And so between each one of those, and that indicates that then there's a new quantity that you have available. So we have 15 grams, 30 grams, 60 grams, etc. For these different numbers that you can be ordering. And then if you need to add more, then you can simply add them on like so, and then you get to have 5,000 of them instead, or whatever number it is that you're needing to have. And we won't do that right now, but once you do that, actually let's do it, and we'll just delete it. Okay, so we'll do 100,000 so that then it's clear that, or even bigger number than that, just so that we know that it's definitely not there, definitely not real. So we save those attributes. And there's these variations that come on down here. And then everything that has already been added prior to this time is already on here. So you don't need to do anything else to them to make them exist after we save that. Then you will add your variation here. And you have all sorts of other additional options here of what you could do, of different ways to toggle things or to add a whole bunch at once, but all we're wanting to do right here is click add variation. And once we add that variation there, then we just choose our quantity over here. And so we have our new test right there. And then now we know this is one that we need to fill in all the information for. For the ones that are already created, we have that information filled in already based on what was on your old store. So then for 15 grams, we have the $15 price here. And then we have the stock quantity is listed down here. And as those are ordered, or as you add more product, then that will grow or shrink. And then we have the weight. Let's go back there. Then we have the weight down here for what that would be for shipping purposes. And then we have our description down here of what it is that this is like. And then each one of these has their own little setting. So it should be that these all have the right weights on them. Hopefully they are approximately correct. They're what we drew from the old website. It should have transferred correctly. You want to let us know if any of these numbers end up looking wrong, because of course we're not familiar with the exact numbers that they should be intuitively. But they should all be correct and it should have transferred over in the right ways. We're going to go ahead and delete this one that was the test. And then back in the attributes, then we're going to delete that one there as well. And now we're back to normal. If you're ever in a place where you want to change the product image, then you can change that over here simply by clicking on this image, and then you can upload something new, or you can choose a different image from within these. Either way will work fine. And then if you're ever wanting to make it so that then it's appearing a little bit different, you can crop the featured image, and it should be that we have a there's several different places that these show up on the site, and so you can crop each one of them separately, but since they're all one-to-one ratios, I guess it's automatically bringing them together. So you can make it more zoomed in if you think it needs to be more zoomed in. If you see exclamation points, that means that then you've gotten so small that it's not really working for that size anymore. But we could come in like that and get a little bit smaller size. I won't do that. I'll leave that to you for now. There's a short description here. We're not utilizing that right now. I'll take that away at some point so you don't have to see that. You do have some more options down here for advanced settings. Nothing that should be too important to you right now. And I don't think we need any of those things either. So those are the basics of how you utilize this. It's probably just a little more complicated than what you've been using with your current store, but it should be that it's possible to get the hang of it without too much trouble. Obviously, if you have difficulties, let us know and we can answer any specific questions that you have. If we come back over here, we can see some of the broad settings though for WooCommerce as well. And we don't have any orders right now. I meant to go to settings over here. There we go. So we have settings over here and we have your address in here. Everything should be correct on that. Hopefully it is. If you ever need to change your address, you would change it here. It does matter for the sake of things like taxes and shipping. For products here, then there's some settings that you can change, but they are things that you really wouldn't do too often, probably just about never. So you can mostly ignore that. We have taxes here, and right now we say that we're entering exclusive of tax. We've not actually added the rates yet. We don't know what rates need to be charged for your situation, so we'll check in with you on that and get all that entered. But the way that this would normally work then is you have your standard rates, and then you can say that for all these different places, then you're going to have a certain rate, so 8.5%, and then save changes, and it's all good. I don't want to do it right now though, just in case we accidentally forget and have the wrong rate on there. Don't want to get you in trouble. We come over to shipping here, and most of these things aren't going to matter too much to you. It's set up so that then we use the calculated USPS shipping like it had been on the old site. We're using that for all of the United States, and to the best of my knowledge, that's the only place that you're shipping. When you come over here to US Postal Service though, this is where most of the settings are that you might actually need to be dealing with on a regular basis. You do need to set the zip code correctly for where you're going to be sending from so that it can calculate accurately. We have all the address stuff in here. If that ever changes, you can adjust that there. When you look at the shipping rate in boxes, then you have these things here. You can set a margin so that then that way you add a little bit extra to whatever the cost is supposed to be, just in case it turns out you're off by a little bit. That can either be a dollar amount or it can be a percentage, whichever way you want to do that. Right now we have those both set to 0, so it doesn't adjust it at all, but you can experiment with that if you want to. And then we have it set up right now where it'll take you 2 days to actually ship out the product. We don't know whether that's realistic. Hopefully that's approximately correct. But you can put whatever number of days it is you think it will take for you to actually be able to ship it out. And then that way it will give estimates to the customers of approximately when they can expect to see it. And we can take that away if you don't want an estimated delivery date at all. Down here we have all the different parcels that are available, and on your old site we saw that you had the two kinds of mail you had were Priority Mail and Priority Mail Express. And then the boxes, it seemed like there were 14 listed on the other and 15 here. So there's one additional box on here that wasn't on the other. I'm not sure if these are really all ones that you're using or not. Some of these don't seem like the most reasonable, but that's how it was set up on the old one. So we set it up that way on the new one. You can let us know if there's only certain ones of these, or you can really just go through here yourself once you're logged in and uncheck anything you're not actually going to use. We don't have any measurements listed for your different for the different products that you have. There's only weight. That's all that existed that we saw, and so none of those things are going to be 100% correct, but it ought to be close to what it should be. Hopefully it is. Most of these other things down here are not things that need to be changed right now, because this would be like with custom boxes or additional special rules that you want to have in place, international shipping, things like that. So mainly it's just getting those right on which boxes you are using. And you're not doing anything here with letter mail or flat rates. For tracking, just have some information that can be sent to the client and to you, the customer and to you about what is happening with the shipping that you have, and we need to enter in that information once we launch the live site. But that should be everything with that part of things. On payments, then, I don't think that we have anything set up for you just yet. Let me make sure. Let's see. Oh, I guess maybe we do. Let's see. So we have your email address. I don't know if we've gone through the whole process to get it officially set up or not. I'll have to double check on that. We'll definitely make sure that that's done prior to the time that the site is launched. And so I'll have to double check. It might be something somebody else has already talked to you about that and resolved that. And if they have, that's great. If not, then we'll make sure that it gets all taken care of. One other thing you want to be looking at especially here, though, is under emails. Then we need to make sure that we get all these set to the right thing. Right now, none of them are set to the right thing. They're all set to my email address. So I want to make sure that all those orders, as there are new orders made, as there are canceled orders, that those are all set to the right place. Let's see. I think I saw your email a moment ago. You don't know for sure if this is the one that you're wanting all those to go to or not, but I'll put it in there for now so it's at least going to an email of yours. This is your Yahoo email, and we can put that in there, and then that way, as things are happening, there's no way it's going to accidentally go to me, at least. I don't want that responsibility. And you don't want me to have that responsibility. Here we go. Okay, so those are all set up now to have the correct emails on them, and these things down here go to the customers. We can set it up at some point where additional emails are sent to you as well from those things. And I don't think there's anything under advanced that you would need to be looking at. No, I don't think so. So once we have actual orders coming in, they're going to show up over here, and we need to get a test order going at some point for you to take a look at, so you can see what the whole process looks like. But once that's there, then there are a few more steps, and we can cover that when we get to that point. But this should get you started, at least to be able to explore it some. And when we're ready to start testing out the actual purchases, then we can walk you through that process as well. This should get you a lot of the way there, though. As you have questions or concerns, let us know. We're happy to help. Reach out to David, and he can provide you some assistance or find someone who can.